Well, good afternoon. Happy Friday. Mark Milam here, your mortgage professional. Let's get right to it. A bit of a vexing problem here with mortgage interest rates as we close out the week, because candidly, we're getting all of the data that we really wanted to get. We really wanted to see that consumer price index number come in under expectation, showing that the economy is cooling. It's exactly what we got. We wanted to see the PPI number, the producer price index, reflecting the same, showing that the CPI wasn't an outlier. It's exactly what we got. We're not seeing unemployment drop, but remember, unemployment only counts those people who are actively looking for work. We are seeing jobless claims go up a little bit. And then we're closing out the week with some under expectation numbers for retail sales, including automobiles. So all of this should be pointing to a weakening economy, or at least coming off of a red hot economy, trending in the direction that the Fed wants us to trend back down towards the 2% rate of inflation. We're not there yet, of course, but we're moving in that direction. Hey, this time a month ago, the CPI was showing 6%. This time, this week now, reflecting back over the past 30 days, we're down to 5%. We are moving in the right direction smartly. What's not moving in the right direction are mortgage interest rates. They're plateaued. They're staying very, very stubborn, very resilient against this layer of support before they continue a further trajectory downward. And it's all about the Fed, folks. It's all about what our Federal Reserve is saying very publicly and very loudly about what they plan to do. Let's get right to the data first. Let me flip the screen around here. Let's walk through this together. Mortgage-backed securities are having a relatively flat week until today. We're seeing them sell off a bit today. Why are they selling off? What's the data behind the sell-off? Absolutely nothing. There is no data behind the sell-off. The sell-off is all sentiment, and it's based upon what our Federal Reserve members are saying. I'll get to that here in a minute. We can see retail sales down below expectations, coming in at minus 1.0 versus 0.4. If you exclude autos, same thing, minus 0.8 versus 0.3. Our producer price index came in below expectations, jobless claims above expectations, CPI came in at or below expectations. All of this trending in the direction that we want. So why are interest rates not moderating? Let's take a look right here. This is one of our Fed members, Bullard here, James Bullard, who stated last week that the Federal Reserve should stick to raising interest rates to lower inflation while the labor market remains strong. And this is my primary beef. I'm going to get on my soapbox here for a second this Friday afternoon. This is my primary beef with our Federal Reserve. They keep linking inflation to labor. Inflation to labor. We hear that all the time. We have to weaken the labor market. We have to weaken wages. We have to drive up unemployment to get inflation down. No, you don't. And by the way, we have 9.9 million vacant jobs and 5.7 million people looking for jobs. Good luck weakening the labor market. Inflation's coming down. We've already just shown that with the CPI. We're down 1% in the past 30 days. You don't have to weaken labor to get inflation under control, but that's not what our Federal Reserve is saying, and that's why interest rates are not coming down, folks. That's the bottom line. Take a look at this one other article. This came out, this is April the 14th. This came out today. A senior Federal Reserve official said Friday, today, that there's been little progress on inflation for more than a year, and more interest rate hikes are needed to get prices under control. Folks, we are headed right back to the Federal Reserve being a little bit late in their analysis, and they're going to wind up over-tightening and driving the country into recession. I hate to be that blunt about it, but that's genuinely what I think is going to happen. So that's why your interest rates are remaining high. It's not because we haven't gotten data that tells us that inflation's moderating. It's not that we haven't gotten data that says the economy is coming off of being white hot and slowing down. It's simply because our Federal Reserve continues to state that they're going to keep hiking interest rates. This time a week ago, they were projecting about a 50% chance that the Fed would hike the Fed funds rate in May, on May the 3rd at their next regularly scheduled meeting. Let's take a look now today. So this is our Fed Watch tool. We can log in and take a look. We now have an 81.5% chance that the Fed is going to hike the Fed funds rate come May the 3rd at their next regularly scheduled meeting. 81.5%. So we're going to be hiking the Fed funds rate into weakening data, understanding that Fed funds changes take a lot of time to trickle throughout the economy. And you can look, just yesterday, this number was at 6.67%. In one day, we went from 67% to 81% probability. Why is that? That's because of this article that was published this morning with our Fed members talking about weakening labor as the key to stemming inflation. Why is there no talk about corporate profits as they pertain to inflation, because we certainly had record corporate profits in 2021 and 2022. We're just now seeing corporations start to feel a little bit of the pain that the American consumer has felt. Where is our Federal Reserve talking about corporate profits by quarter? Corporate profits overall. Let's take a look at corporate profits by quarter, and you can see since 2020 what's happened with corporate profits. Shooting right through the roof, record levels of corporate profits thanks to inflation. In fact, we had an article published in thehill.com where executives acknowledge, I want to read this to you actually. Let me pull this down in my bottom screen so I can read it to you without staring up. This says that executives in many sectors acknowledge that markups are the primary driver behind record corporate profit earnings in 2022, with price hikes making up for elevated input costs. The Fed has been linking inflation to wage growth. The Fed has been linking inflation to unemployment. The Fed needs to start linking inflation to corporate profit taking. It's a much more accurate event that's causing inflation. All right. If I can be of any service to you over the weekend, don't hesitate to reach out. Mark.Milam at highlandmtg.com. Thanks.